Welcome back to another episode of Elevated Dialogue here on the Unkle Junior Network. I am the Uncle Junior, and today with me is the rest of the hosts for today and the rest of the Wolfpack members. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Mr. Victor Viziant, Antoine, the other artist, Christopher, across the table with Christopher McClellan, and last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, poor man's Dr. Phil, the man of many hats. Coach is not going to be here today, but you can check him out actually right now. He's live over on his platform, the Empowering Perspective platform. I mean, the Empowering Perspective podcast on YouTube. So the link is in the description. He is paid membership right now. So go over there. If you want to be a paid member or something like that, jump on over there and go over there and support that network as well. Gentlemen, how y'all doing it today and this week?
I am strong.
Strong. Like it. Antoine got
Man,
two thumbs up.
I'm good. I'm good.
Good.
Solid. It was a decent temperature this past weekend.
Yeah.
Like kind of crazy that it was hotter in June than it was in July. Than it is in July.
So what's decent for Texas?
We had we're having like a solid 95 to 100-degree days with a little bit more of a breeze. Like we had like some kind of weird humidity.
Yes.
And now it's not that's gone now, so it's a whole lot better. It's still hot, but it's not like it was when we was on planet Mars in June.
Yeah. Okay, on planet Mars. That's what's up, man.
Mercury.
Hey, I want to take a second to thank and welcome everybody out here who is watching from a different platform, whether you're on whether you're on LinkedIn or StreamYard, not StreamYard. We're on StreamYard. Whether you're on LinkedIn or YouTube or Facebook or anything like that. Welcome to the show. Um, Feel free to jump in the comments, ask questions, anything like that as we continue on with the as we go through the show. And other than that, gentlemen, just even before we get started, what do y'all think about this topic? Even before we get into it, and also if you're in the chat, what do you guys think about this topic? What do y'all think about cheating in general? Before we get into it,
Man, I was appalled. No, I'm
You-
just
Paul. Who is Paul?
exactly. No, I think it's something that people might not dive into because they don't necessarily want to tell the truth about it, about themselves. And so unless you're willing to get honest, it's for some people and not for others. And it depends on what you consider cheating. And I guess we're going to dive into all
Yeah, we sure is. Antoine, what you got? I know you got something to say. What do you think about the topic? What do you think about the cheating topic in general? Even though you're muted.
Sorry. Cheating
You get
is wrong across the board, period. There's no way you should be anybody's sloppy seconds, period. If you have any self-esteem in yourself, any self-worth, there's no way you should be going back into that box. Forget it. It's done. It's over with. That's all I'm going to say on that. It's wrong across the board.
Hey.
Unless if you have a polyamorous relationship, if you have that discussion with her that you have an open relationship, well, you know what you're marrying, a hoe. But if you're in a committed relationship, you did all the right things, you're a man, you arranged that relationship with her. I don't care how wealthy you are. It's wrong if you cheat. And any girl that stays there, she's either desperate or fat, but there's no reason for her to be there. Ever. Across the board. That's it.
Hey, there we go. Well, hey, you know what? Let's start with this then. The first question of the night is this: what is cheating? If I want to start by saying this, the goal is not necessarily to define cheating, because we understand that cheating, for the most part, can be defined based off the individual, based off the rules and the dynamics of their relationship. So we're going to talk about it in kind of sort of a general term, but at the same time, I do want to go around and start a little bit to kind of um trying to start the foundation or the playing field for the conversation. So with that being said, what do you guys think is cheating?
I would say cheating is going against something that's been agreed upon between two or more people.
Yep. Cheating for anything is doing something behind somebody's back without them knowing. Plain and simple. And that's not complicated.
I would agree. I would say cheating is doing something that you would not do in front of your partner. If you're not comfortable doing it in front of your partner, but you're doing it and you have to hide it, that to me is cheating. And to Roland's point, it is going against whatever agreement you and your partner set up.
Yep, I get that, man. You got something, Vic?
No, I think it's hard. That horse is dead.
Yeah. Yeah. So I know we're going to get into a whole bunch of different, we may get into a bunch of different dynamics of this topic when it comes to cheating in general. But with that being said, do y'all know of like a situation or an example of where someone has cheated? Because the reason why I'm asking is this, because there are a lot of situations, there are a lot of relationships where this comes up, where one or the other party have cheated or something like that, and whether or not they stay together or separated, this is something that is common in relationships. Not all relationships, but it is something that is common. And there are a lot of people who watch TV, watch social media, and men and women who experience being cheated on. So we want to kind of unpack some of those different things. So with that being said, again, how do you, well, I'll say with this, how do you know? I'll start with this. How do you know if somebody is cheating? Let's start with that.
They stop doing the small things that matter.
Pattern irregularities.
Give me
they
an
break the
example,
routine.
Antoine.
What?
Give me an example.
Well, they stop. You know what? They're coming home a little later. They're not texting you as much. They're not letting you know where they are. You know, the small things of, they're on the phone more than normal when it's your time. And you know when it's your time because habits are formed. You know, they're closing their phone when you come around a corner. You know, the computer all of a sudden has a password on it or something that it's not normally there. Their car looks a little too clean, smells a little different.
What are you doing? Clean the car so you can take them on a date? I never heard of that one.
In the car,
breaking the routine. That's all it is. It's breaking the routine.
It's breaking of the routine. Yeah.
It's breaking the routine.
You're breaking a routine, though. She knows you clean your car.
I think that it depends on where you are in a relationship. Because
are we talking about committed one? Are we talking about committed or not committed? I'm confused now.
That's where Roland about to go.
Okay.
Right. Where, like, if you just get in a relationship with someone and y'all just been kicking it and y'all like each other and everything cool, like I tell my daughters, because, men have a thing where they want to control. Oh, you can't talk to, you can't do. And I tell them, you can do what you want to do. Till he does this and y'all agree that y'all are this, you can do what you want to do. There's no, oh, this is my woman and you done put the club over my head and made me a certain thing. No, because you have to make sure that commitment is known before the other person commits. You can't just assume because you feel a certain way. So cheating to one person may be, you were, like people be saying, well, when you looked at her, I look at TV and when I see Sanaa Lathan, to people's definitions, I'm cheating every time I see it because, or whatever. So I think it has to be, y'all got to make sure the commitment is known and make sure that you guys are going in the same direction.
Yep. I get that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think it's kind of straightforward. It's like really nothing to add to it, because like when you break your routine and you got somebody in your business now, so
it seems like if I'm listening to everybody collectively, you saying that there's always going to be a sign that someone is cheating.
Yeah, if you present, unless you cheat,
right. or if you are just not paying attention.
He's just not paying attention. Like I said, you got to be present. You know what I'm saying?
Right. If you are paying attention and you notice that the routine is the routine and it is the same thing. You know what I'm saying? You know what it is, and it breaks, and nobody is saying anything. Then that's going to automatically ring something like, okay, what's going on?
That's the sexually gets the mind right there. Because
right, and then you're going to think like, all right.
Mm-hmm.
She's not doing this anymore, but she used to do this consistently on a regular basis. I'm still doing what I'm supposed to do because I don't want to make her look bad. Something is going on.
And just little petty things. Men will look for, because I'm a man, so men will look for things like if she come in straight, she been gone with the girls wherever, and she goes straight to take a shower. It's like, whoa, like you ain't even said hi to me. You walk
Routine.
fast, you go to the shower. Like when you start doing this, you acting brand new. So it's like they're saying, routine
Yeah.
will throw up flags.
Breaks in routine. So it sounds like it seems like what that been saying is that if someone cheats, there's no such thing as a good cheater. Like they'll always get caught. Because it seems like to me that it's probably some dudes out there that's been cheating for a long time and they may be really good at it to where if they're not, falling short with their routine, they're not, showing differences in how they move or operate, everything is still the same.
Or they broke
That is
that.
because the woman that they're cheating with
Yeah.
understands her position, and she ain't doing nothing out of pocket to break the routine with the main situation. That's that's on her. That's not on him. He don't control that. He don't run that. You understand what I'm saying? That's on her.
Mhm. But
She is going to be the one to flag. It's on her. Like if
but
she does something to cause him to break the routine, that is going to cause his woman to investigate. But if she knows what her position is and she is playing that position the way that she is supposed to play it, according to whatever situation they got going on, and the routine stays the routine, the other one, the main woman has nothing to look for. That's on the woman that that's on the woman that he is cheating with, or the man that she is cheating with. You understand what I'm saying? That's on them. They understand, all right, she's not mine, but I get a piece of her every now and then, but I get to send her back to where that she, you know what I'm saying? I get to send her back home, but I still get my piece. Or he's thinking, or she's thinking, all right, he's not my man, but I still get an appointment every now and then, but I get to send him back to his wife or his girlfriend. That's on the other woman or the other man. That's
And,
not on the
and,
dude or
and
the
some,
woman.
I agree with that. And some men are just good at breaking down women, breaking that self-esteem down, giving them backhanded compliments that they bring they're stuck. They think that man is the best they can do, and they get comfortable in it, and they say, "Well, I know what he's doing." And some men just break that self-esteem down until somebody comes up and says, "You know, you're a really beautiful woman, right?" And
See,
then
I wouldn't go to the self. I agree. Some need self-esteem help, but I think women are more like dudes nowadays. They just want some Peter sometimes. So sometimes that's it. And I remember when I was in the military and I was single, I wouldn't even deal with no single chicks like that. Why? Because single chicks pop up at your crib. Chicks come by. So I would sit up there like, okay, I know she got to go home. She ain't coming at my crib at no 12 midnight. She in the bed. So and I would do things like that because you can't bother me at certain times.
Yeah, I had a homeboy like that. He had a chick that, he was messing with and she was married and she had kids. So like he only had to deal with her like at nighttime, like once the kids went to bed. You know what I mean? And it was good for him because he could run the streets with his other chicks and stuff like that. And she was married and I think at the time her husband was deployed. So it's like, you know, she was getting her itch scratched and he was getting his here and there whenever he wanted to from her. But I think they both kind of had an agreement that it was only for a certain amount of time. But I guess they had those conversations and stuff. I guess it worked out. I don't really know.
And it's
I
not
was that
always
guy.
Huh? You was that
I
guy?
was that guy. I ain't gonna hold you. I was that guy, man. Listen, if I released my text message thread, a lot of people in this city would not be married. I'm
Don't
gonna
do
keep it
that.
all the way a band.
in the
Yeah.
city.
I'm gonna keep it all the
So
way a
here,
buck.
here's the thing. So with that being said, and I know, and we are not here to go to dig deep down into your black book, with your Rolodex or anything like to bring out all of your skeletons or anything like that, or to put anybody on blast. But in those situations, were you successful at being the side piece to whereas the woman didn't have to move differently and her husband or whatever never found out?
Okay,
I
but
guess so.
men have no problem being a side. For men, we're not side pieces.
Oh, hey, look.
We're not. We enjoy that freaky sex on the side ones.
No. Hey, the thing is about like you got to define what a side piece is now, because see, is some people that's out here they the side dude and they want to be on, they want to take selfies with the chick. They want to go on dates and vacations now. You see what I'm saying? So like, there's a different type of side that what you're talking about. You got Mr. Maintenance Man. You know what I'm saying? Like he don't do nothing but tune her up. You know what I'm saying?
For me, that's a side piece. I don't go any.
But then you got the work husband. You got so many layers to what is okay and what's not. You know what I'm saying? Because eventually, the reality is all these men that's in those spaces are playing a position for an opportunity.
Right.
And if she entertain that type of attention and doesn't manage it very well, you know what I'm saying? Like it can go left very quickly. It can inspire somebody to go do something. You know what I'm saying? If it ain't resolved correctly. That's why you got to be careful with who you with. Like some people don't know how to read a room and they like making a scene. You can't do both.
And women try to play men same way as men play women these days.
All day.
The other day, somebody I hadn't heard from in a while hit me up, how you doing, all that other stuff. And then talking about I had to pay this and move, and yet like, oh, for real? Like, okay.
Yeah, like
because I know my daughters do it to me. They hit me up with the, "Hey, Daddy, I miss you. I need some money." So I know
you up before they ask you for some shit.
Right.
Hey, the whole behavior. You know what I say? All of this is just lack of sexual discipline. You know what I'm saying? Like you make different decisions when you focused on getting some loins on the other side. You know what I'm saying? If you wake up and your number one purpose is to drive 4 hours to go beat these cheeks up, you know what I'm saying?
4 hours?
Whatever it might be. You know what I'm saying? Like some people make trips.
Jesus, Sage.
You know what I'm saying?
Like
4 hours?
You ain't never hold up. You ain't never did nothing foolish.
I used to drive it for a poke.
You see what I'm saying?
How far was for a poke?
About 5 hours.
See,
you would drive that far?
Yeah.
It'll be on the route. It's not necessarily just a one-way relationship. But what we're saying is it's on the grocery list. You know what I'm saying?
At the end of the day, there are some extremes that men will do or women will do to go and
people have died having sex, man.
You think people are taking all these
like falling off of cliffs and stuff to get this voyeurism out? We have read stories where straight animals get hit on the highway because they're looking for somebody to go mate with. You know what I'm saying? So like it's really that powerful. You make different decisions and different choices when you focused on getting some butt.
Okay, but can we at least agree? If you're in a committed relationship, can we at least agree, Vic? If you're in a committed relationship, I'm yours, you're mine. We have no external agreements. This is
not me and you. Not me and you.
No. What? You're not my type, goddammit. You know that.
Hell no.
Crazy. Would you, if you're not coming home to it, you're gonna go seek it elsewhere. That's why you have to be coming home to it. I don't believe that it can get. Listen, it only gets bored when she starts wearing the granny panties. She doesn't make herself look exciting to you. You're not desiring her anymore. She's just not cooking naked anymore.
I don't think it's that. It's not really that simple. It's really
not coming home to it. You're not coming home to it. If you're not coming home to it, you don't desire it. You will seek it elsewhere. We're men.
I want to find fish in the nude.
Hey, the thing is, though, I agree with Antoine, but I would say this: it's not about always coming home to it, because if you are as busy as we are as men, we really don't have time to be busting down cheeks like that. It's that the option is there. Just don't take the option away from us. That's really it. You understand what I'm saying? It's all about knowing that if I come home and I want you, I get to have you because I'm committed to you and you're committed to me. Now, if I'm committed to you and you are committed to me and you take that option away from me and still want me to give you what I give you, then that's not equivalent exchange. That's, you know what I'm saying, and that to me is why. You know what? I was about to go on a tangent. The floor is yours, Antoine.
No, it's not mine. I'm just saying, like, if I'm not coming home to it, I just no. If I'm doing my job as a man, I'm keeping it up. I'm bringing the flowers. I'm doing everything I need to do to keep this relationship. I'm not saying 24/7 is going to be roses, but come on, man. If you're lying down and next to me in that nightie, what do you want me to do? You wake up in the morning, you got the TP going. If I'm not coming home to it, you don't do your job as a woman besides cook, clean, and take care of the household. I'm gonna get my rocks off somewhere. You're just not pleasing me and I'm not desiring you anymore because you're not making it desirable for me. You're not giving me the environment. At the end of the day, men are like dogs. We'll piss and shit anywhere unless we have a short leash that will piss and shit right next to you. We're not like cats, which are women, temperamental, need to be stroked, need to be pet cuddled. You can't just reach them at night or they'll scratch out to you. It's just the way it is. I'm not gonna complicate
Antoine in his analogy sometimes.
It's true.
I like the dog and the cat one though.
Oh boy.
A dog a long leash, it's gonna piss and shit everywhere. You give a dog a short leash, it's gonna piss and shit right next to you. And that's what it is.
I'm the oldest person on here, and I think sex don't drive me. See, so say I'm whatever. I need somebody to stimulate something up here, because I don't want to sound. I can get coochie anywhere. I ain't got to drive far. I can get that. But see, people think everything is about sex. Sometimes you have a relationship with somebody where they stimulate some things that the other person doesn't, because whatever happened in your relationship may have failed and y'all just there to be there. And then you gravitated towards somebody else. And now it's like, okay, yeah, is it cheating? Yeah. But what you're doing is like, you aren't just out there for some coochie. You actually getting what you don't get at home.
See,
Be careful,
and
Roland.
this right here,
Because
this
you're
right here,
telling the truth.
hey, and this is why cheating has so many different components. Because like some men don't cheat, they change you. They swapping you out. Like, because a man with purpose ain't got time to go from woman to woman to woman. You see what I'm saying? So if he does step out, he getting ready to swap you out.
Yep.
And calling it a sub off the bench.
Because again, a man don't want to be with nobody that's gonna put him in a situation where somebody making a scene unnecessarily. You know, somebody that puts a barrier between him and his purpose and his talent, especially if he's good at something. You know what I'm saying? Like men with purpose that have been in positions of power, they have side chicks because of the fact that they can pay them. They can afford their silence. You know what I'm saying? And he paying for discretion. You see what I'm saying?
Somebody said they gonna cut some balls off.
Hey, you know, the whole point of it is that this is why sexual discipline is so important. Roland just said that he ain't motivated. You know what I'm saying? By man can be sexually motivated, but if he's sexually disciplined, he got a lot more control over his outcomes in his life. The people that are dealing with most of the friction that that comes in everyday life, the self-inflicted stuff, that comes from a lack of sexual discipline. Most people problems come out of them. You know what I'm saying? Not to them. So like wherever you made your problems at is probably with a specific woman or a specific man, because the rest of the world don't have the same problems that you have. You know what I'm saying? Specifically, well, sexually disciplined people definitely don't have the problems that sexually undisciplined people have in life. And I think that's a fact.
Okay, but I'm the type of guy that I don't blame. I would say the woman's, I mean, if you stay with a guy that steps out, I don't care how long you've been married to him. That just tells me about you.
Yeah, because it's only about you.
Like that just tells me about you. Why would you stay in that? Like, there's nothing that would make you like, how? Like, that means you would always have that in the back of your mind. It's like having that priceless vase that you broke, but every so often the light shines on it and you remember that crack and you remember it all over again. Why would you want to subject yourself to that every day? It's done. It's like, why would you go back to that? Even if you have.
I think there's a maturing in our relationships, because if you've been with somebody since you were 21 and now you 40, you can't tell me you ain't never looked at somebody. You ain't never
You're
did nothing.
supposed to look. It's like a menu.
I'm talking more than look.
Yeah, just because you're on a diet doesn't mean you don't look at the dessert.
I'm talking about more than look.
No,
Because
then, you know what?
I'm looking at it as when you, and you know, a lot of people who, how can I say this, who don't get approached, don't know. It's like you don't have to block a bunch of shots when ain't no shots coming your way.
That part right there.
Yeah. Hey,
I heard
hey,
that like
hey,
a lot.
Dennis Rodman shot 75% from 3, but he only took 4 shots.
4 shots. 4 threes and 95 rebounds.
Robert Horry got 7 rings. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but we're not talking.
See,
We're talking about a
here's
guy
the
that
thing.
has. We're talking about a guy that has options. So we're not talking about a guy that that has no options.
Here's
That
the thing.
woman is the best that he can do. I
Here's
mean,
the
we're not
thing.
talking about that. We're talking about guys with options.
Here's
So
the
why
thing,
do people
and here's
cheat?
the part.
Oh, go ahead.
Because
No,
the
go ahead, Chris,
option-
and then I'll get to that.
People cheat because the option is there and there is somebody that will cheat with them. That is base level. If you feel like what you are getting at home is not good enough, but you don't want to mess up the home, you're going to go seek it out elsewhere and see if you can keep that and still keep your home. I've known men who have cheated and gone back and loved their woman even more because they got that evil out. You understand what I'm saying? There's a primal nature in us to want to procreate. That is how we are built. It is what it is. We can produce seeds until the day that we die as long as our prostate works. You understand what I'm saying? So it's in us. Vic brings up a really, really good point about being sexually disciplined, and Roland brought up a very good point about it. Not it. I can get it elsewhere. The late Patrice O'Neill used to always say this: vagina is important, but there is really nothing special about it. Meaning this: it is important because we need it to continue civilization, but it is not special because it comes standard on every model. And if you are about something, and you are showing the world that you are in a committed relationship, and that woman is smiling, there are going to be other women that want that smile too. He's going to have options. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, but
it's nature. But the thing is, you have to understand is this 1 to 2 hours that I'm going to have with this woman, is this 2 to 3 expensive dates, hotel rooms, and pornographic sex that I'm going to have with this man worth losing 5 to 10 years of a committed relationship? You understand what I'm saying? You have to weigh that, and only people who understand their nature and understand how to not suppress, for lack of a better term, but control it so that way it doesn't mess up what they have. Unless you can do that, there are going to be people that cheat.
But again,
but
Chris,
the option is going to be there. You understand what I'm saying? That's the thing. If you are about something, you are going to have options, but you don't have to exercise every option that you have.
Listen, men are capable, but why are people not understanding? Men are capable of thinking without their dick. Like, that's ridiculous to me. You can't think without your dick. You can't look at a pretty woman and just appreciate the pretty woman. I draw naked women when I do my art classes and show them how to sculpt the human body. Some of them are fine. Some of them I wouldn't even want to take a second look. But nothing sexual comes out of that. I mean, you're acting like mature men. Sure, it's nice to be on a diet, and then you still want to have an ice cream once in a while. But if you're dieting during the week, you're going to say, no, I'm going to refrain from doing that. But you're acting like men aren't capable of thinking without their dick. That's how I look at it.
I never said that.
No, but you're saying it's a big, you're going to have options. You're going to have.
God. But I also said that if you are disciplined enough and you understand that what you have is not worth that little speck of a piece of time that you're going to have with this person that you have options with, you are going to understand that it ain't worth it. And you are going to go back home, and you might mess around and have a mature conversation with your mate saying, hey, you are not giving me this. And I need you to give me this. Because if I give you, because if you do not give me this, then to keep it real, there are other people that will, but I do not want them. I want you. I'm committed to you. So can you give this to me? If you cannot give this to me, then we may as well part ways, because I do not want to hurt you. And I will hurt you if you do not give me what I need and still expect me to give you what you want.
I agree. I agree 100% with that. 100% with that. But
And to your point, Antoine, there are a lot of immature men out there, and the reason why they are immature is because they are afraid of the loss that they are going to take if they are actually honest with their woman. They're afraid of the loss.
I just know me as a man that I couldn't take a cheater, period. You can't even breathe in another man's direction. I don't care what you say. Call it possessive, call it whatever you want. It ain't happening because I'm never going back in between there. And if you're a woman that would stay with me after I cheat on you, I don't want you, because that means you're going to let me step all over you and you're not worth my time. You need to check me. If I'm out and I'm doing something, you need to show me you love me by asking me, honey, what time are you going to be home? Because I'd like to know. I want to prepare dinner for us. You need to have these things. But if you give me a long leash and let me do Tom, Dick, and Harry, don't complain. Because you obviously don't care enough to know where I am.
Go ahead, Roland, and then I'll go after you.
Yeah, I think that in relationships, you have two grown people, two consenting adults, and I don't think there should be those extreme levels of control with either, because you should want to come home. You should want to call. You should want me to know where you are. Not that I gotta, hey, where you at? Where you gonna be? I need it now. Right. If certain things, cool. You know, hey, I'm trying to cook something. Do you want this? But I'm not in the business of controlling any adults, not even my grown kids.
Yeah, I get that, but
you can't.
Here's an answer, a little small story to go along with this question: is why do people cheat? So I know somebody, and they're married, and it's a guy, and he has 4 kids, and he's not a serial cheater, but he cheats. And the reason why is because him and his wife don't get intimate anymore. And a lot of it is about the kids. You know, he's like, his wife is not really fulfilling some of those urges and different things that he has. And I don't think that they're always on like really, really good terms and stuff. So it's like she's pretty much told him that she's gonna take him to the bank if they get divorced. You know what I mean? And then she gonna take the kids from him. So like for him, getting that little bit of peace, no pun intended, you know what I mean? Like he's going
that evil out so he can go back home.
Getting his evil out a little bit so he can go back home and deal with this situation. I know some people would look at this and say, why won't he just divorce and do this and all this thing? But I'm telling you, I understand that. But I am telling you that there are people that are in the situations where they feel trapped and they don't feel like they can get out. And sometimes even risking, all of the consequences sometimes may be worth that soothing satisfaction that you get from, like Chris said, that 1 or 2 hours, and like Coach said, of fishing. You know what I'm saying?
Impossible. That's worth a Mission Impossible. I'd do that. Oh yeah,
that's what I said earlier. Yeah. That's what I said earlier.
Like you see
the option away from this man.
Yeah. You see how you turn the pressure up a little bit. Now you get a realistic response. That's all in the hypothetical. Antoine's like, oh yeah, you already ran off on the plug. You know what I'm saying?
And divorces will cost you.
So Antoine.
When you have properties, when you have grandchildren, children, and properties, and you built all this, you may keep the facade going simply because this is team us, because we got paper to make still. We got stuff to do. So
can't
whatever.
afford to get divorced.
Yeah. So you lose this, boom.
You got 2 households, child support, kids, 2 insurance.
The house over here, the house over there.
I ain't doing all that. I ain't doing all that.
You may not, but what I'm saying is, like, I think, a lot of people who don't have kids, and this is no disrespect or shade to anybody who don't have kids, but when you have kids, I think it's just something different that comes with it. You're just in a situation that no one who don't have kids will never understand. You know what I mean? Just like I don't know what it's like to be, my age and be single and out there on the dating scene. I know what it's like to be in my 40s and dating. No
It's a mess.
thanks.
It's
You
a
know?
mess.
Exactly. You do
You know
not
what
want
I'm
this. You do not want those
You do
problems.
not
I
want
don't
it.
The
want it.
stories that I hear,
don't
boy,
want it,
I
man.
tell you.
Then again, I'm the same guy that says I don't want to get married for kids. There's no other reason for me to do it. I don't need the tax write-off. You ain't that much anyways. So there would be no one. The only reason I would get married is for kids because I don't need you for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
I'd rather switch you out. I mean,
Oh, Antoine, so check this out. Check this out, right?
Uh-oh,
All right.
here we go.
So I was watching this show. I was actually watching Kendra G. That's what I was watching. You know what I mean? So but so she do the singles thing, right? So there was a dude on there, and the dude, I never really thought about this before. So you know how what happened, we've talked about it on here before. What happens, when there's a divorce. I don't want to spend too much time on. I want to get back to the cheating eventually. But one of the things that he had talked about was that he was single, he had money and different things like that. And he wanted to be married. He was adopted before, but what he was going to do, he was going to adopt his own child and then find a woman. So that way, because one of the things he said, I have more rights to an adopted child than I do my own biological child. And I was like, you know what? That's the first time I ever heard that was today. And that's freaking true because you can have a biological child, get divorced, and your wife can say, you don't see your child. She can blast you out. You may only see your child part-time. If you go out there and you adopt your child, you're going to have that child for forever. So even if you get married and get divorced, that's still your child. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying that that's an option, but that is something that I heard today. So I just wanted to bring it out there for the single folks who
I
may
want
want
a
to have kids.
biological.
Sound like some healthy human trafficking.
Yeah, I want a biological kid. I don't mind having a biological kid.
What you mean human trafficking? Like if you're a single male and you want to have kids,
they getting
and you
discount
don't have
babies.
to go through the nut roll of getting divorced and then not being able to have a relationship with your child, I think it's a pretty
understand.
decent option.
I don't
This is
disagree
amazing.
with the strategy. I was just looking at the humor in it. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
I ain't doing it.
We gotta talk. You gotta think about. Look at what we have to discuss in order to ensure that we are still represented. You see what I mean? You got to go traffic babies. You know what I'm saying? You got to go adopt some kids to show competence.
To ensure that
It's crazy.
ensure that you can.
It's healthy human trafficking. I mean, it's still good. It's still good.
That may be.
It's not funny.
Is there?
But it's
Is
funny.
there another? Is there another sure 100% way that men can raise their children without adopting?
No.
Because there's no guarantee if you biological. Would you say, Rolling?
I know, but I'd rather go through.
That's
I just
a
want
hard question.
I ain't doing it. I'm just saying.
It is.
I don't have anything wrong with adopting after you have your own, or you have your own. You have one, and then you want to adopt one because she doesn't want to put her body through that or something medical.
Yeah.
I don't mind that, but yeah, I want a kid of my own. No,
Yeah.
I'd even pay for a surrogate in that. But you know what? I'd be the guy that made a hole in the condom. Sorry, it sucks to be you, but I don't mind. I don't mind if we keep it.
Antoine out here talking about
Can't
trapping
do that,
women.
man. What is
I don't mind
wrong
if we
with
keep
you?
it. Just saying. I don't mind if we keep it. You know, I'll be there for the struggle.
It's Antoine Christopher
What is-
555-555-5555.
I'm just saying.
Like this.
Be careful, hey. If y'all out there for Antoine, make sure you bring your own. Make sure you bring your own Magnum XL for Antoine because he gonna put a hole in the one he got.
She's a dime and she is fine as hell. Oh hell yeah!
Hey,
Are
look.
you kidding me? Give me that struggle.
All right, so here's what Charlotte Jordan said. Charlotte Jordan said this. She said that not all cheating is about sex. Sometimes people are seeking out someone to give them attention. What do you guys think about this?
He's not coming
I
home
believe
with.
What
It's
about
true.
vows?
Huh?
She also said, "What about vows too?"
Who?
So,
Which vows?
so like she mentioned, like whatever the vows were that you took during marriage, and then also says not all cheating is about sex. So
Am I reading the wrong thing?
yeah, I mean, anybody's looking for attention in that situation. They're just looking for some sort of physical reciprocity. That's just it. And
Not
I don't.
even physical though. It might
Yeah.
be, hey, I can talk to her. I can talk to him. I can't talk to you. It could be that. But in a sense, if you're in a committed relationship and you are supposed to go to the person that you're committed to and you can't, technically, that's cheating. You understand what I'm saying?
Anything that takes your extra resources to go, to go do to, if you commit some extra resources to it, you definitely in the trenches. you know, so if you're not, if it's like not happening, you know, in an impulse kind of way, and I'm not even saying that that's even, you know what I'm saying, cool or whatever, but like that's how some people move. That's just the behavior that some people have. You know what I'm saying? Sex is just an ingredient in the day. They might have some, they might not.
And whatever happened to being committed to your vows and to your spouse, your vows are supposedly to whoever your deity is. And I would say over half the time, the people getting married don't necessarily know either one of them. They don't know each other as a spouse, and they don't know who they're saying the vows to. They just say, hey, we want to be legally freaky.
Legally freaky.
I'm just,
I get that.
They just want to, you know what I'm saying, have a house where everybody can be astray every now and then and then come back. You know, I've seen some marriages where, like, in the course of the marriage, they got children that's from somebody else, and they still stay married. You know what I'm saying? Because there's only one child between them, between the entire marriage. But other kids were born out of the same woman, and they stay together. Now, that ain't for me. But I've seen some extraordinary things that I could never, you know what I'm saying, see myself doing. I've seen some committed side dudes, you know what I'm saying? Mr. Charlie, Mr. Nick, somebody that come by and also work on the stuff at the house. You're like, you spent a whole lot of time over here.
Paying bills.
Everything. Some real sugar daddies. Yeah, like in the South, it's just way different. You know what I'm saying? Like coming over, eat Sunday dinner and everything, man. You know, so it's just different cultures got different ways of dealing with relationships. That's just what it is.
But can't we agree that if you're in a committed relationship, you just shouldn't do that? It's like,
but you
guys,
can only agree with what's you.
How do you bring yourself to touch her again? Like what could, I mean, knowing another man's been in there, like how do you get yourself, can you even get
just making it worse too?
But you think about it, most people nowadays over the age of 13 ain't virgins anymore.
I don't want a virgin.
Reality or the thought that
I tell you guys all the time, why would I want to marry a virgin? If I know how to eat pie on my wedding night, she has to know how to eat a hot dog. It has to be that way. I am not teaching anybody on my wedding night. She needs to know how to please.
I don't even want to know how you would teach her. Somebody turn Red Twin off.
You think I want blood and all that crap on my wedding night? You better know how to rock the house, because I know how to rock the house. Why would I teach you on my wedding night? You may not even be sexually compatible to me. Next thing you know, you don't give head. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna go seek head elsewhere? Sometimes you don't want to do the whole shing dang. You want to come home and just sit on the couch and get it. What are you gonna do? She's gonna say, no, I can't do that. What? That's why would you marry a virgin? That's craziness to me. Everything hurts. The first night's gonna be a dead zone. You gotta wait till she warms up to it. How long is that gonna be? Crazy, man. Oh, you guys are nuts. No way. Guys. We don't do that.
Turn him off. Turn him off.
Nah, I don't. No.
I'm trying to figure out where to tie in at.
Jesus Sage.
I had no idea that
it's not that. But I understand what Uncle's talking about. Though. I understand what Uncle's talking about people over the age of 13 not being virgins. But I think what Antoine is talking about is you've been in a committed relationship and you know your girlfriend been touched by another dude. Like, how can you look at her after she has been touched by another dude when you supposed to be committed to her? Like, how do you do that? You understand what I'm saying? And I kind of get it. I get it. It is difficult knowing that somebody might have rearranged her guts. Yeah. What am I supposed to do?
But the reality of it is that most women and most men were with somebody else before. So the only difference is that you know about it.
See, but I think it's,
you know what I mean? I'm not saying that I'm okay with it. I'm just saying.
But most men aren't okay with it as most women might be. Most women might be forgiven, whereas men be like, nah, I can't be like that with you now. So
I think men can't get past the visual.
No, the visuals, man.
You be like on
Yeah.
The Best Man.
I don't think the men can get past the visual. Some
How?
dudes can.
How? You're hitting it from behind and you're seeing that you're looking at the same back somebody else looked at? Like,
Because there's dudes who do it.
There we go.
Those are the ones that have those are the ones that are on a certain level of that's the best they can do. They
may be.
that is the simp of all simps. That is
But some of those dudes may be in Oprah and Stedman relationships. You know what I'm saying? Some of those dudes may be in Oprah Stedman relationships. I'm joking, but you know, some dudes, but some dudes may be okay with their wife cheating or something like that because they may be getting a financial gain or something.
Oh yeah, don't they have a name for a guy that does that?
Don't they have a name for those dudes?
I don't know.
What they get? Well, if you got you talking about an open relationship?
No, what Uncle was just talking about is some dudes being okay with just they wife cheating or whatever, right? Not necessarily open relationship, but it might as well be. But because if you okay with her being with anybody, she just gonna do whatever she want to do. You know what I'm saying? But like, don't they call it like a cuck?
They call
So I look at it like this. So here's where I'm going. I'm just reversing. I'm just changing the genders for this conversation.
Yeah,
that's all I'm doing. So it's like, you know, we've heard different people on the platforms talk about, you know, if a man is at a certain level, blah, 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 maybe they should be able to cheat or whatever it is like this. What I'm saying is the same way is that there are certain women who may be in a financial situation where they may have a lot of resources, and there are dudes who may not have that, and they may be, this is obviously probably the minority and not the majority, but they may be willing to take on, you know what I mean, just turning the blind eye when wifey don't come home at 6. She might come home at 10. You know what I mean? Because that
sounds like present dating culture.
Yeah.
That sounds like everything that happens right now. You know what I'm saying? Because the the women that have the finances together, they have a completely different experience with men than the women that don't.
And I think there were different types of men too.
Yeah, because they can
different caliber men.
You can only hump who want to hump you.
Yeah.
You can't, like, for a man, he can't. You can go to jail. You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't. I mean, the path of travel is very short, very minute. If you can't control your emotions, somebody gonna control your emotions for you at some point, right? So a man got to be careful about which women that he pay attention to. So if he always in and out of the same type of conflicts with being able to get access to his kids and stuff like that, that says more about the women he chose.
Yep.
Because unless you sit back and waiting for a woman to come pluck you out and put you in her space, and you know what I'm saying, and then you over there getting abused, but you signed up for it. You gave her a baby. You know what I'm saying? So that same type of cycle, those men stay in that cycle because of the choices that they make. You know what I'm saying? From the women that they pick from. And the women on that side are generally masculine when they have more money, right? And the men are usually less masculine, but they emotionally submissive to women. So they'll do anything for the cat. So they'll withstand being emasculated. They will take just being completely disrespected openly, and all for the sake of getting access to some box. So there's only a certain group of men that those women can date and interact with, because there's a whole different group of men that will never take none of the disrespect that they come off with. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's people got boundaries, man. You got a certain class of people that you date in. If they piss outside on the front porch, you know what I'm saying, you probably not gonna be that interested in starting no family with that person. You know what I'm saying? So you can only kick it with who reflects your behavior and who make you safe. So if you choosing unsafe people, you ain't a safe person either.
But Vic, can you agree that those aren't men, though? I mean,
see, but I think
we can shame them either way.
They're sexually undisciplined men.
Yeah, we can throw shame tactics at them and call them names and all of that. But either way, man, they're
that's what I'm saying. You either
sexually undisciplined. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I know, like I said, I'll say the same for women. I don't know why a woman would stick around with a guy that's poking it elsewhere. I have no idea why you would. I mean, unless you're like, why?
I guess I think some of it is sometimes that may be the only thing. The man or woman could have everything right, and they may just have that thing that they may not want to deal with or whatever. I don't know. But appreciate everybody being here again tonight, all you gentlemen here, and also the people that's on the chat, the people that's on Facebook, LinkedIn, the different platforms and stuff like this. I do want to slide over here and welcome everybody again that's in the chat. I want to slide over here and hit some of these questions and comments and stuff like that while we have the time. Charlotte Ann mentioned that people cheat because the grass look greener on the other side until they find out it's crabgrass. Like, I think this kind of goes back to what somebody was saying earlier. It's like, you know, it might have been before the show, so I ain't gonna repeat it. So, what else? Cheating starts with a thought as well.
Yeah.
So we all cheat. What do y'all got to think about that?
It starts with the thought, but the action is what I have a problem with. You always be cheating. You always. That's why you wear sunglasses.
But see, a thought can be a cheat. If we're looking at thoughts,
hold on.
really
Wait a minute, though. Wait a minute.
Go ahead. Let me hear you.
Wait a minute. I'm gonna tell you a story, and this is when I grew to respect. I grew to really, really respect him. I was at the gym with one of my homeboys. We're, you know what I'm saying, doing our normal workout routine, and there's this girl thicker than a Snicker doing squats right in front of us. And the first thing out of his mouth when he looked at her was like, "Damn, I can't wait to get home to my wife."
There you go.
You understand what I'm saying? So yes, we're visual. We see things. We are not dead. But there's a thing called transmutation where we can take what we see and divert it back to where it's supposed to go. That's when you're disciplined.
What's wrong with appreciating beauty? Like, what's wrong with it?
There's nothing wrong with appreciating beauty. But the thing is, you can appreciate beauty from afar and then go home.
Yeah,
you don't have to appreciate it hands-on. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like driving past a nice car and you got a nice car.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, like, you know, I'm not about to go get in the other.
That's
I'm not
what
gonna
happened
test drive everything.
In the garden, she looked at the fruit, she touched the fruit. I'm sure she smelled it. Next thing she tasted it. So you start out with those senses of looking, it's the same, but you got to be mature enough. And I never try to put morals in anybody else's relationship because I don't know where they are in either side. So what they do, they do. So if a man is in a position, I don't know, his wife could be a nag. I never know. She could be just hateful at home, and then somebody shows him attention, like on Norbit. Norbit was married to Rasputia, but that girl said, "I'll meet you on Tuesday." He was running around saying Tuesday. He was ready for Tuesday to go eat lunch.
Hey,
I have never seen that movie.
Really?
Oh man.
Really?
Yeah, I was
I've
going to say,
that movie.
I don't know that one.
Oh
Hey,
man, that was good.
Shout out to everybody who put something in the chat.
Yeah.
Charlotte Jordan again, Christopher Monroe again. He says attention leads to sex. Real quick, what do you guys think about this?
I don't think
if the attention is reciprocated, you know what I'm saying? It's anything can lead to sex if it's reciprocated.
If you're seeking attention, because
if you're looking for it, you're gonna get it.
Like Chris was talking about the girl in the gym squatting in front of the dudes. Like, I'm turned off by chicks like that.
Really?
Because it may look good, but you're an attention whore. I don't need you.
Why?
Yeah, I'm like rolling
somewhere.
But the thing is, though, listen, there's a squat rack, and then there's
right in front of the bench.
and the gym heads would understand this. There's the squat rack, and then there's the woman who wants to go grab the 10-pound dumbbells and act like she's doing goblet squats, knowing that she wants people to look at her. You understand what I'm saying? That's really what it is. And I can understand why Roland would be turned off by that, because I'm turned off by that too. You are in the way. I am trying to work out, move. Now, it would be different if you were coming. It would be different if you came over here and said, "Hey, how you doing?" You know what I'm saying? Introduce yourself like a grown-up and said, "Hey, do you mind if I work out here?" But if you grabbing the lightest weight possible and doing something that you know is going to garner some attention that you know you're going to get, you understand what I'm saying? I'm automatically looking the other way because I know that is what you want.
But she worked
You know what I'm saying?
hard for that.
That's that thirsty behavior.
But she
But
worked
that's
hard
that
for that.
thirsty behavior, man.
It's like when
That's
you do
that
your
thirsty
back, you
behavior.
want people to see. When you do your back, you want people to see you worked hard for that muscle.
But if
My
all
back
you
is
got
fucking
is
amazing.
your
But the
physical,
thing is,
Exactly.
though,
So her butt is amazing.
but if all you got is
But
the
the
physical,
thing is,
you're gonna
though,
have to hold yourself out in a minute.
What?
If all you
exactly
have is the
because
physical, you're gonna have to hold yourself out.
yes, you see me working my
That's your
back out
capital.
and you see me doing what I'm doing, but you also see me on platforms like this speaking like a grown-up. You understand what I'm saying? I can do
I don't
both.
even know she's not.
All right, let's move
Stop
on.
it. You know attention is the new drug.
Hey, shout out to Miss Lee G. Marshall. She said for some women it starts emotionally. I'm not going to touch that. I'm not a woman. I am going to accept that as the truth, unless you guys have something else to say in
My
response to that.
father
Nope.
told me that you can have any woman in the world that you want. All you got to do is one thing. And I was dumb. I was saying a bunch of stuff. He said, all you got to do is let them run their mouth. Because when they feel like they can talk to you, confide in you, and all these things, they find a need for you. So then they gravitate towards you without you even gravitating towards them. And then they come at you looking physically, they're looking emotionally. Oh, I can talk to him. Oh, that's my boy. Oh, that's my brother. Yeah, whatever. And then you thinking, okay, doggy style and things like that. That's young you. But it's true. That's how men think. Because women, they looking at it emotionally. What they not looking like, oh man, I just want to sleep with him.
Yeah.
No, they looking at, man, he can bring value to my life.
Yeah, and I think that's where I've heard before. You've heard it probably in these spaces and different times from uncles and everybody. It's talking about when women cheat, it's different than men cheat. They were talking about men, it's more physical, it's more like blah blah blah.
Like a
Like
handshake.
men will cheat with somebody that they don't even necessarily like or want to be with. You know what I mean? Like a man will sleep with his wife even though he don't want to be with her, and sometimes, but a woman won't sleep with her husband if she don't want to be with him. You know what I mean? So it's like that's just some of the things that I've heard over the years, just from different people and stuff like that. But I think that once women, this is just based off of my own, not necessarily research or just living 47 years. I think for the most part, this is pretty true. I think for women, it is more emotional than men. I think men can see something, they turn their head and they'll go poke and go right back home and be fine with it. Don't even think about that woman anymore. You know what I mean? Until they release and they get there, oh crap, why did I do this? You know what I mean? So
Post bus clarity.
yeah, post butt clarity.
Post bus
Hey,
clarity.
Bus
Women
clarity.
cheat emotional cheating.
Postpartum busting.
What's that, Antoine?
When women cheat emotionally. When women cheat,
Yeah.
it's an emotion. They have an
No,
attack.
they gone. Like when they cheat emotionally, they gone.
Yeah, they have an
They
attack.
out of there.
They get that attack
It
emotional.
ain't no go back and forth. They out of there.
Yeah.
Like when they cheat emotionally, the exit plan is already being
Emotion.
executed. You know what I'm saying? Like you're too late.
You're too
If
late.
she cheating, you've been too late. You know how like when you get caught in situations like this, you cannot be present. You have to be doing the same thing to be blindsided by an outcome like that. Because if you're not present physically, at some point it's going to bring a lot of things into question, and emotions are very fickle.
Yeah.
Very fickle.
A shout out to Karen Jordan. Karen Jordan says, great dialogue. I think people cheat because they have not set boundaries for themselves or respect the boundaries of others. Sex or no sex, excuse me. One must know, I think, self before becoming fully committed. Appreciate your comment. What else did I have? Somebody just listening. Antoine sounds real odd. Well,
That was the
damn.
hot dog conversation.
The hot dog conversation. Oh,
Yeah, like hey, I can't wait for you to watch that rant. I can't wait for him to watch his own rant and then just go back and say, God,
oh
I
man,
said
that's
that.
funny.
No.
I agree. Oh, what's this? O'Shea. O'Shea says I agree about leaving or at least looking at your cheating wife. Real talk. Derek Evans. Real talk is hard not to cheat. It's a day-to-day struggle. I think that's true for a lot of men and women in certain situations. So I'm not gonna deny that. But what do you guys think? You think it's hard to not cheat
like Vic
day to day?
This ain't even a thought. Like it don't even
Right.
happen. Like so, like this is a prime example when I talk about being sexually disciplined versus undisciplined. See, his thought pattern right there is like that of a sexually undisciplined person. Because if not trying not to cheat is part of his day, it's way different than mine. I cannot relate to that. You see what I'm saying? So it's a whole lot of people that function like this, and it's rooted in something else, man. You know what I'm saying? It's not just a lack of it's almost like a complex, man. You know what I'm saying? Because that behavior to me is it just don't sync up with what I understand about my day every day. You know what I'm saying? But it just depends on what he does every day too. He might work around a bunch of women.
Yeah, Vic, you had a point. You have a point. You have a point. Is rooted this type of thinking is rooted in something deeper. This is why I do semen retention. I remove everything from it. I just stop. Bring me something aside from the physical and let me figure out if I can control me. Because if I can control me, then we are okay. But if I can't control me, I'm going to hurt you. So let me control me. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He might need to do something. If you want to change something, you got to change something. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Hey, Derek Evans or anybody else, any men out there, if you want to jump on the show real quick and add to the conversation, just let me know. I am going to drop the link in the chat. So,
no shit.
See if you want to.
Vic, I also want to say, Vic, like if you're in a really good relationship, she's a good woman. It took you time to find her. It took you time to build all that. You had such long, good conversation. Everything is solid, and she's giving you the highest honor of a baby. I can't understand why something else would turn you on to the fact that you would go and ruin that. To me, right?
Because I can kind of explain that. It is just like Vic said, it is the inability to control the nature that we have as men to want to bust a nut.
It's craziness to me. Wow.
Man, look, we were in the Army, 3 of us here. The only thing that can ruin your career in the military is having sex with the wrong chick.
Dude, when I went down to San Antonio and I worked as an instructor, a teacher, Sergeant Major said, I don't care if you get caught drunk driving. He said, don't put your thing in my privates. My soldiers, the young soldiers.
Yeah.
He said, leave them alone.
I'm telling
you. You can do all that other, but leave them alone.
That's why I wouldn't.
It's the number one. Look, you gotta look at it. It's the number one tool to emasculate and ruin a man's reputation in public. When I tell you sexual discipline is the main angle in which they try to discourage your character, to misrepresent you. All these arguments about men are dogs, when we got 80% of kids born out of wedlock with 16% of men, we got 30% of men virgins, 50% of men don't have no kids.
58.
Come 58, I'm sorry. At some point, are we going to have a discussion that's rooted in statistics and outcomes? When we start, so if numbers don't matter, then you got to look at behaviors. And we sit up here today talking about kids don't have no respect and confused. Well, and looking at every ingredient in the situation.
Well, they have no respect because, like I said, they don't have a father in the home. How many of them are born out of?
And that's what I'm saying. That whole cycle
across the head. They don't have that at home. Are you kidding me?
And every one of them problems came out of that person.
I agree. Hey, listen, I am 100% on board with that. I mean, finding a fresh one is hard today. Lord have mercy. They all come with a mini.
Oh man,
it is difficult.
Hey, I am not responsible for the
I ain't gonna hold you. I got lucky.
As a single man dating, let me tell you, man, it is hard. So hard to find a fresh one. I mean, you got to
What
go.
do you mean fresh?
No kids.
Not having any
Fresh
children.
means no kids. I just want to get a definition because earlier he said you ain't gonna. You know, you
man,
don't want.
you want a fresh one that when you want to go, you just go. When you want to go on vacation, you don't have to find a bit. You're fresh. You don't have to take care of somebody else's mistake. You don't care. That person, that child has every right not to respect you. Why? You're not his dad. And here I am paying for the soap and water you use? No. Like, you want something fresh. You want something that, you know what? You pushed out the first thing, which was mine. I'm glad with that.
This is
But
your
to find
fault, Nick.
but to find that in today, how young do you want to go? I'm telling you, how young do you want to go? That's why I tell men, put yourself in the best financial position so you can get the younger, hotter, fresher ones that are at least, my God, at least had a body count of 5, maybe would be nice.
It sounds like
I
he's
do.
selling baby wipes.
Yeah,
But see,
boy.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. It is not about blame. I'm going to say it is about circumstance. It is about circumstance. Women are being encouraged to do these things. It is in media, it is everywhere. Be free, be liberated. Do you have hot girl this and all of that? So if men actually understood that that is what is being promoted, then we have to be extremely careful with our seeds. We have to be. It is not about blame. I do not care who started this. I do not care who promoted this. This is what it is right now. All of these behaviors are being encouraged. So we as men have to be responsible now.
You're absolutely right.
Nothing's gonna change until men change it. We're not
You
waiting
fix
on
the
no-
kings, the kingdom falls back in
Yeah,
line.
come on, man. So like when I talk about sexual discipline, it ain't to shame nobody. It's the man. Look, there's characteristics in certain people's behavior, right? You know what somebody body language looks like when they want to rob you or something, right? Or they pose a threat in some way, shape, or form. Everybody has a certain characteristic about them, and if you pay attention to what they pay attention to, you'll be able to see like, oh, those people move like that, you know, and that's just what it is. Because at some point you used to move like that. I've been on both sides of everything we talking about, so that's why I know what it is I'm talking about.
Minus the kids.
Yeah, minus the kids,
And one of
and
the
that's,
ladies,
that's I'm sitting in the center. You see what I mean?
right? And one of the ladies said, it starts with self-discipline. You have to control you. You can't be running all over town for some, trim or whatever. You can't let that move you because, and yeah, we know wars were started over women and all that other stuff. But you got to think to yourself, man, am I willing to lose to gain this? If it's just about that, can't be just about that.
Yeah.
I agree with that 100%.
Appreciate you, Karen, again for that comment. Self-control is a skill. It must be practiced. Luckily for us, we have the ability to practice it every single day. She said, start that discipline. I think Christopher might come up. I don't know if he was just joking.
Come on here, Chris.
But
Oh, shit.
before we get into some solutions or something like that, and the pack wisdom or final thoughts at the end of the show. We got about 20 minutes or so before we wrap up. But with that being said, what are some of the negative effects of the cheating? And I would say one is divorce. If that's not something that you want, and with that divorce could, if you're a man and you're cheating and you end up in a divorce, you may pull out that worst version of your spouse. And with that being said, she may want to make it hard for you because she's hurt because you have cheated. So now, whereas you might not be able to have that conversation where we are going to think logically and think about what's best for the child. She may go through a time where she's hurting and she's in pain because she's entrusted you with everything and you cheated and now you want a divorce. And now she wants a divorce. So, like I said, one of the negative effects could be that you may have to pay child support and you may not be able to have the relationship that you want to have with your child because you may not be granted as much access to your child as you would like.
And I've gone through that.
Mhm.
When I got divorced, I had 3 daughters.
Mm-hmm.
The younger one, she was like 2 when we got divorced, and you could tell the difference. Now they all grown, but you can tell the difference in the thinking, where I had more time in the house with the older 2, because the young one is like, man, your mama, dang, she messed you up because of how she thinks. It's like, to me, it's like you think backwards, and that comes from a father's influence. And so that was a burden for me after the divorce, and then I started to see them develop over the years.
Yeah, the emotional damage to come back from that is really. I mean, you need therapy for that. I mean, I don't blame her. Like if I'm a woman, I'm going after your jugular vein. I'm going after you. I'm taking half. I'm going after you. You have every right to come after half. You have every right to do what you want to do. My job is to make sure I get the best out of the deal because I was the idiot. But you have every right to do what you do. There's no way you should stay in that environment as a woman. For what? You will never have peace ever again when the lights go off. I don't get it.
I'm going to say, I'm going to preface this by saying this. A woman's love is rough. But because it takes a lot to get to it. You understand what I'm saying? It takes a lot to get to it. But I do not think that there is something that you can do to a woman one time and she just leave you. You understand what I'm saying? She'll make your life miserable. You understand? She will try her absolute hardest to destroy you. But I don't think I just so that way you'll feel the pain that she felt. But I do not think that she would leave you. I think that's one of the negative effects of cheating. You understand what I'm saying? Trying to hurt the other person as much as you hurt because of that action, instead of having a discussion like, hey, what is it? You understand what I'm saying? What is it? What happened? And I can understand dipping out after that happens because, okay, you violated the agreement. So I got to go. But there's also a self-reflection side of it. Like, what did I do to cause you to do that? It's not victim blaming. It's more along the lines of maybe something was missing. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I guess that could be a positive and a negative side of it. You understand what I'm saying? Just the hurt and the lack of trust that comes with that. And then the rebuilding stage that you have to go through, when you could have just had a conversation from the jump saying, hey, I need this from you, because if you don't give this to me, I'm going to go outside and look for it, or I'm just going to leave you.
But honestly, do you want to sit in that every day? You want to come home to that?
Would you want to but that's what I'm saying. Just why not just have the conversation like, hey, you're not giving me this. You are not giving me this. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
But there are some people that'll just go get that evil out and then come back home.
That's why I believe when you get to a certain age like myself, you know what you want, you know what you like, you're going to have that conversation. Listen, this is the way I like it. Do you coexist with this?
But see, Antoine, you, me, Vic, Garfield, Roland, we're not afraid of taking a loss. You understand what I'm saying? Because if you're not giving me what I want, how can you expect me to give you what you want? There's no equivalent exchange. You understand what I'm saying? You're not about to take options away from me and still get what you want out of me. That is not that's just not going to work. But there are men out there that are afraid to take the loss. So I can understand where you are coming from, because you are like, hey, if you're not giving me what I want, bye. But there are men out there that are like, you're not giving me what I want, so I'm gonna go get it from someplace else, but I don't want to lose this.
Man, I got some friends with some stories, man. They call me all the time, like
they really don't want to lose their girl. Vic, they really don't want to lose their girl.
Let me tell you, like, there's situations where like men are in lengthy marriages, got a lot of assets tied up. The bandwidth for making a sudden decision it's a business decision. Like you got a lot of names and stuff tied up with each other, Mm-hmm. So then you throw some kids in there and a couple 401ks, you know what I'm saying? Next thing you know, you got to liquidate everything because you can't agree on that. You just got to turn it to cash. Now you got to figure out where you're going to live in the world. How you going to
sometimes it's not as easy as Just I gotta go. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
yeah,
saying?
like
Sometimes it's not easy.
yeah, exactly. Then you still got to work. Now
Yeah.
you got to go. Now you got to go where you can work. So now you got to relocate. You know what I'm saying? You got a whole different restructuring of your life, man. You still got a passion that you can't work on, and it's killing you that you can't get back to it because you're dealing with somebody that's hard headed because you made a selection of the wrong woman. Like when you break down like one of the negative effects is time, resources. You know what I'm saying? Anxiety, bro. Like that's why when I be talking about sexual discipline, bro, like every time you look at when something broke off and it parted ways, you could tell by the behaviors how it was gonna go. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
It's hands down the most observable thing that you could just see, and then you're not even shocked when it happens because it occurs so frequently. People don't really understand the impact of how it's changed the way we see each other. Because you have to, everybody's a scam. Like it's one of
Hey,
the scams.
hey, with that being said, I'm gonna bring up Mr.
There he is.
21, aka I think it's Chris Monroe.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, good evening, brother. Welcome to the show, man. What you want to add to the conversation?
Oh, there go Knicks. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Knicks.
Go Knicks. Nah, I mean,
What's up, bro?
I don't know. Hey, for whatever
Man,
reason, man.
can y'all hear me?
Oh, there you go.
We got you
Yeah,
now.
we
Hang
can
on.
now.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we
Yep.
can hear you.
Man, me personally, it's like with the cheating aspect. I grew up around a lot of women, so it's hard to trust women. I don't know. Just out of life,
mm,
most time, men, we like y'all say, we cheat. We just cheat just out of action. It just happens. You know, it's easy for everybody to cheat, especially with women, because most men ain't gonna say no if you especially in the club environment where you at. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like cheating, like I said, it starts with the thought. We think about a lot of things, man. Say, and you can't just go to your woman and tell her what you thinking about nothing. You know what I'm saying? I tell women all the time, how y'all think we feel when y'all in the club dancing with your homegirl dancing on your ass and digging all up in you, and then we just sitting there. That's weird to me. Shit. I'm sexually undisciplined sometimes, so it's weird, but I like that shit. I mean stuff, excuse my language. But but Vic know the world I live in, you know what I'm saying? So Vic know me day to day, so Vic see a lot, you know what I'm saying? So it's like a person like me, how can you really just trust when you just in here and you see it and you do it all? Like, whoa. And they don't even have a problem with it. They okay. They see fit. And you like, what? Hey, let me tell you something. They say they'll try anything once. There's a lot of things that I won't try, but with women, hey man, listen. Hey, I can't really explain my life on here. You know what I'm saying? So, sometimes Vic might have to call y'all personally and tell y'all what I experienced, and then y'all look at it a whole nother different way of what I be talking about.
this is
You
amazing.
know,
Hey,
'Cause,
hey,
man,
I feel
say,
you. I
hey,
feel you know about I feel
yeah.
you know about growing up around women and being around women and seeing how they move and understanding. You understand what I'm saying? Just seeing things and not trusting them. I can get that because
So all
that
right,
was
so
my life.
I didn't. So I want you guys to
man,
to
what?
shed some clarity
Say,
on that
man.
because I didn't grow up
Listen,
around females. So
man.
I mean I did,
It just
but how did that affect it by just growing up around females?
how did it
Like
affect it? Well,
yeah, like
well,
what
it
what
made
what
life
what
easy. Be honest, it made life easy for me because the
mm-hmm.
main thing about a woman, if you give a woman consistency, you can get whatever you want. They think you give her consistency because you call her every day and you ain't missed a call in 2 weeks. She think you missed her forever. Yeah, after I tap them legs and I be Mr. Gone tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? So it don't take long. It's about how you make
This
them
is
feel. You know
amazing.
what I'm saying? And when you know that, and you
Yeah.
understand that these women like you understand. Listen, women love attention, right? Attention to get you trained. You feel me? And that's just realness because they want attention from multiple men, not just one man. And that's what people got to understand. Women have, just like we have different desires, women have different desires than other men. Like, I don't understand how women sit there and watch these shows and or these movie stars and be like, oh, I like that man, or he who in front of their homegirls and they man around. That's weird. Like, hey, I can't sit here and talk about the woman on there and all of that, but I'm not. If I could, I still not because of the respect factor. You know what I'm saying? So ain't no woman gonna be loyal to me until she think I'm everything. I got to be everything, man. Listen. When she looks at me and she sees everything and don't see no other, that's when I'm gonna be there. But until then, hey man, they have a friend in me.
Hey, there you go. Hey, Mr. 21, man. Hey, man, I appreciate you jumping on here. I'm gonna glad you back out. We're gonna dissect some of the stuff you said, and then we're gonna jump up off here, man. But I really appreciate you coming
Go
on
Knicks.
and adding the value to the show, man. Really
Real
appreciate
pimp
it.
leaving the building.
So what y'all think,
That was
man?
amazing.
He said a lot of stuff.
That's my dude, man. Shout out to
Yeah.
Chris.
Listen, man, I'm gonna be very candid, man. Being around my aunts, my cousins, my mom, my grandma, and seeing, you know what I'm saying, seeing how my aunts move, seeing how my cousin moved, and understanding that the way that I was taught was based off of what they thought. And once I removed myself from that and started getting around men and saying, what they taught me was some bullshit. Like 90% of what they taught me, I can't use because I am not them. You understand what I'm saying? I can't move like they do. I can't think like they do. I can't act like they do. I can't feel like they do without putting some thought behind it. I had to learn that by removing myself from them. You know what I'm saying? That's why most of the time when we are on these platforms, I shut up. Because being around men and hearing men, I understand man's stuff. Like I said, man, I've been on this journey for a decade and a half. He has a point. Like, women move different. And when you are around women like that, you start to think that you can move like them too until you remove yourself from that environment, knowing that you can't.
What are some, like, what am I trying to ask? What does that look like? You know what I mean? Because I wasn't like, Mr. 21 had said something about he don't trust women because he grew up around them. He was raised by them or just been around them a lot growing up. So what about the way that they move causes the mistrust? Is it that you may, and I don't want you to get too personal and throw your auntie or somebody under the bus, but was like women moving with Vic's word, sexual undiscipline, to cause you to be like, man, these women ain't nothing because they out here getting clapped up, every day and twice on Sunday. Is it because of the way they moved? Is that what caused you to not have that trust when it comes with women?
It is the way that I have seen them move with men that causes that. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to get too personal. I don't want to put nobody
Yeah, I
on
don't want
blast.
you to get too personal and throw
Understand what I'm
anybody under the
saying?
bus.
It's about a body of work, man.
Right,
That's
but
what
it's like,
over a period of time.
right, but it's like a handful of them got it right. A handful of them actually got married before they went and did the kid thing. Some of it didn't work, but at least they did what they were supposed to do first. Some of them were just frivolous and then decided that they wanted. Some of them were frivolous. Listen, being around women in general, not just the women in my family, but women in general, who show me just how much they are willing to sacrifice just to have a man in the house to tell them that they love them. You understand what I'm saying? That's and that's pretty much the culmination. That is the culmination.
I grew up around women my whole life. Then I had a bunch of daughters and stuff. Now I grew up around women my whole life, and when I didn't have a trust for women, it wasn't because of how they moved. It was how I saw they allowed me to move with them. Things that I could do.
Say that again.
Yeah,
Man.
Say it again. It's on the ride along, huh?
So it was me.
Yeah.
And I think that I ain't worried about trust. I trust everybody to be who I think they are, but I gotta trust me. I gotta I got to say, okay, I'm this way. So I don't care what somebody else does, because if I stay, I'm going to use an old term. If I stay copacetic, then I'm good. I don't have to worry about what somebody else does. I got to trust me. Whatever she does, it'll come out in the wash. If she's shisty, it's going to come out. And if she's shisty, it speaks to my character for seeking out a shisty person.
But Roland, I can understand what you're saying, because aside from having daughters, we kind of have a similar background, being that we've been around women all the time. But I didn't know that I did not know that I was doing these things until I removed myself from those women. You understand what I'm saying? I had to figure that out and get away from them. And when I look back and see how the women that have come into my life moved, how the women in my family moved, and I see similarities to things that are like, why really? Why did I allow this? Two, why did I think that I could do this? You understand what I'm saying? So I get what you're saying, but I had to go. You understand what I'm saying? And now that I am different, I'm the black sheep, because I see things now, and I see things differently because I got outside of that. You understand what I'm saying? So I get your point, but I had to change my environment because I couldn't change my environment.
You got to get on both sides of everything, man, in order to have the whole picture. And a lot of people, they tell it from the emotional side, where they always the victim. You know what I'm saying? Like, people like praise the black sheep, but a black sheep can still get eaten by a lone wolf. Okay, so like, and when you raise your championship to just being a black sheep, it makes you, you know what I'm saying, easy prey. And if you don't have good ego management or any of those things, you mess around and have a whole bunch of kids with the wrong women, just because
that's why I shut up.
Moving sexually undisciplined, because that is an ego-led thing. If you are driven by clapping buns, your outcomes in life gonna look way different. Man, look, how many artists did we see last year that got killed and they was at the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong woman? What was that dude Trouble a couple years ago, when he was in some chick's apartment or whatever that he used to be with? Anyway, he had a situation where his life got taken, and it was all behind the wrong woman. Like, if you watch movies, everything takes the left turn. The arc of the story happens when somebody sleeps with the wrong woman.
But that comes on the man that leads, that gets that woman.
Yeah, but and that's the point. And that's why we're saying that the sexually undisciplined man usually has his life altered by the wrong woman. You know what I'm saying? Or the right woman. Like, women are the portal to the outcome that you got in your plan. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't have a plan and you run into the wrong women, you gonna have a hard time in life. Yes. What it is. If you go into a woman with a plan, she is designed to replicate whatever you give her. So you hand her chaos, you're gonna get chaos. Okay, because if you have chaos, if you have chaos, you don't have leadership. You're having a dispute somewhere, you know, where people ain't bought in. When you got different plans, that's a red flag in itself, you know.
But Vic, is it fair to say that? I just want to make sure we're clear. It's fair to say that if you're a driven man and you have clear focus and you're doing everything and you know how to lead, it's clear to say that woman wouldn't even fit into your circle anyways.
Exactly, that's my point. Because he would attract a sexually disciplined woman. Yeah. He wouldn't. A sexually disciplined man is only going to attract a sexually disciplined woman. There's women right now that all of us can agree on that we probably would not want to have any type of interaction with. They can come dance butt naked right here in front of you, and it won't sway you from nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Laugh in their face.
You see what I'm saying? Like, it's some people that cannot access you, period. And it's 2 million more women than it is men. And nobody's really getting married anymore. So there's a lot of, you know what I'm saying, dust up in terms of like how people interact with each other. They got different buzzwords, different behaviors that they look for to figure out who it is they want to talk to. And the more and more these people keep arguing, they keep separating themselves from everybody else, because the folks that actually went and did some work on themselves and made themselves fit for another relationship. If the first one didn't work, they are in a relationship. They're not moving like those other people did, because the goal is, as you get older, should you be investing in things that bring you peace more?
Yeah,
So you wouldn't cheat to introduce chaos into your peaceful situation. If you sexually disciplined, you wouldn't
Right.
take the chance. You would find a way to work out whatever problems you got. But the woman that you got is relative to whether or not you can work those problems out. Because if you got somebody that you went and got that was sexually undisciplined, don't be shocked when you're gonna be in a situation where it's competitive for no reason, for an unhealthy
Right.
outcome. That's all I'm saying.
Boom. Good,
Yeah.
man. Amen. I've been appreciate everything. We're about to wrap up shop here tonight on Elevated Dialogue. But before we go, we're going to close out. We're going to go around the horn and give everybody an opportunity to say their final thoughts or a little bit of pack wisdom before we roll out for this evening. All right.
Hey, before you go jumping into a relationship where you gotta cheat, know yourself first and foremost. But also, cheating is one of those things where you guys didn't talk, y'all didn't have a conversation, you didn't agree, or you were found yourself in a relationship where now you aren't satisfied, so you're seeking for what you don't get at home elsewhere. So find yourself and continue to seek self improvement, and don't be led with your small parts, brothers. The small head ain't what it's all about. But seek self improvement before you seek a little bit of that.
I guess my final thought is going to be the same thing that we have been saying all through the show. You have to discipline yourself. To me, cheating is a choice. You can choose to do it or you can choose not to do it. My whole thing is, since we are always talking about how grown we are, we should sit down and have grown conversations before that even becomes a thing. And we have to not be afraid of the loss that we are going to take after we have that conversation. Cheating is a choice. That is my final thought.
I believe cheating is wrong, period, across the board. I don't believe in the nice way of saying it, exercising options. No, it's cheating. And I believe it's wrong in any solid, committed relationship. Now, if you've had that discussion about an open relationship, that's different. But at the end of the day, cheating is cheating and it's wrong. And I don't think on either side, male or female, you should stay around for it. That just tells me about you, because it's your self-worth and your self-esteem that you're expressing by sticking around. And I don't think that is it a choice? Obviously, it's a choice, right? But a man with options don't have the options to cheat. And if a man with options to cheat has to exercise discipline, if you have a good woman at home and she's doing everything right, you're doing everything right, and you're on your side, you're coming home to it, because cheating is when you're not coming home to it. If you're not coming home to it, you know what? I understand. You got to get it elsewhere because you're not coming home to it. But if you are coming home to it and you have a committed relationship, why would you want to break up that perfect scenario you have? Even if you're a wealthy man, she's doing everything right to be that woman that she needs to be. You're the one now that's showing stupidity, whatever you want to call it. You're the one that's not actually even being a man. So cheating is wrong. I think you should put yourself in the best position. I think you should vet a woman completely. Lay it all on the cards. You can't make bad news sound pretty. It's still bad news. Have that conversation with her. And when you have that conversation with her and you've vetted her so much that you know what type of woman, to the best of your ability, what's in front of you, then commit to it. And if you commit to it, then do your part to make it right until something happens elsewhere.
When you have relationships, I think in order to make them work, there's a lot of different things that make relationships work. But two of those things are honesty and trust. And I think when cheating is involved or infidelity, what happens is it creates a certain amount of distrust, and it creates that's a dishonest act that happened in the relationship. And I think at the end of the day, those things cause consequences. So if you're going to cheat, you have to think about there are some major consequences that could go into that. So I'm not here to tell people to cheat or not cheat. That's not my job. I am here to say that if you want to live a certain type of lifestyle, then you need to address that with the person day one up front, and then allow that person to choose what they want to do. Once you move into the relationship and those boundaries have been established, once you go outside of those boundaries, then that's when the distrust and the dishonesty and the different things like that come in, which could potentially cause major consequences for your relationship. So at the end of the day, whatever you decide to do or don't do, that's not my job. But think about the lasting consequences that could come based off the decision if you choose to cheat or do so or whatever.
All right, so everything that was spoken about before, um, I'm going to capture it by calling it sudden. It is a acronym spelled like the traditional spelling of sudden, and it stands for sexually undisciplined dating decisions ending negatively. And every behavior, situation, or input that the guys had previously fits underneath the scope of what this acronym captures. Very few things that you do in life that you do the first time you do it correctly. Um, but eventually, if you start developing a pattern of doing bad things correctly, then it just becomes normal, and you'll make excuses for it. But when it comes down to it, you have to be able to wear the consequences no matter whatever it is. So that's just the cost of it all. And very few times will you have to make a sudden decision and it'll be your best decision ever. So just think about that before you decide to pull the trigger, on seeing someone else and it's not out and it's outside the boundaries of your relationship. Respect the boundaries.
All right. We are closing up shop for the night. Gentlemen, I appreciate everything that was said. Chat, thank thank you. Everybody who was in LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, whatever platform where you were on or whoever channel you was on. Thank you for being here this afternoon and spending about this hour and a half with us. We hope you got something out of it. We'll be back again next week, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for another great episode of Elevated Dialogue. And until then, we are out.